All right, imagine this. The world is just starting to heal from a massive cosmic war, and then a brand new nightmare appears in the sky. Today, we're jumping right into Greg Keyes' epic fantasy, Lord of Souls. So, our story kicks off about 40 years after the Oblivion crisis, which, was this devastating invasion from another dimension. Just when things are settling down, a terrifying new threat just appears over the empire of Tamriel. And this is no ordinary city, not by a long shot. It's a soul-devouring nightmare machine that literally casts a shadow over the land. And get this, it raises a relentless army of the undead from the very people it kills. So what exactly is this shadow looming over everyone? Let's take a closer look at the central threat that gets this whole story moving. This thing has a name, Umbriel. And you have to understand, it's so much more than a city. It's basically a living weapon forged from some seriously dark, otherworldly magic. Its arrival just throws the entire empire into absolute chaos.
Now what's really cool is how the story follows three completely different people who get pulled into this whole mess, and each one is on their own desperate mission.
And this table just lays it out perfectly. You've got a prince on a classic quest for a mythical weapon, a spy trying to navigate this tangled web of lies, and a prisoner just trying to find a way to fight back. Prince Attrebus isn't going it alone, though. He's paired up with Sul, this really jaded, cynical dark elf. Sul's dark past and his thirst for revenge are constantly clashing with the prince's idealism. It's a fantastic dynamic, the hopeful hero versus the broken pragmatist. Meanwhile, Anawig is literally trapped inside this flying horror show. She has to be incredibly clever. She realizes pretty quick that her alchemy skills are her only weapon, in a place where one tiny mistake means you become fuel for the engine. But while everyone's looking up at the sky, an even more sinister threat is growing right under their noses, a conspiracy brewing in the very heart of the Empire. Our inspector, Colin, starts pulling at a thread and unravels something huge. He finds out that a super high-ranking Imperial minister, a guy named Hiram, might actually be the one who brought Umbriel to Tamriel in the first place. And here's the kicker. Even the Emperor can't just act. His hands are totally tied. As he says, he doesn't have enough proof to risk a civil war. So Colin has to dig even deeper, right into the middle of this incredibly dangerous plot. So while Colin is dealing with all this political backstabbing, Attrebus is facing a completely different kind of crisis. He finds out the one sword that can save the world is itself a source of pure madness and corruption. What a choice, right? Okay, let's just take a breath. We have a prince chasing a cursed sword, a spy unraveling a massive conspiracy, and a prisoner plotting a rebellion from the inside. All of these separate, desperate paths are now hurtling towards each other, and you just know they're about to collide in one final, insane battle for Tamriel.
And everything comes to a head in the Imperial city, with Umbriel floating right on top of them. Attrebus and Sul manage to get inside the flying city with the sword. Anawig and her crew are ready to set off their sabotage, and down below, Colin makes his last, desperate move against the traitors.
In the absolute chaos of the final battle, Attrebus sees his chance. He strikes at the very heart of Umbriel, plunging the sword into its engine. The result is this universe-shattering blast of energy that honestly threatens to tear reality itself apart. But that victory, man, it comes at a huge cost. Every single one of our heroes is forced to make a profound sacrifice, choosing to save the world instead of themselves. So, the battle for Tamriel is over. The dust is settling. But now the story starts asking a much deeper question. What does it actually mean to be a hero? Tamriel is saved, of course, and the city is celebrating. But for the heroes who made it through, the war isn't really over. They're left to deal with this quiet, new reality, totally haunted by what they lost and just fundamentally changed by who they had to become. Attrebus, especially, just completely rejects the title of hero. He feels like the real heroes were the people who fought alongside him, people like Sul and Colin. But his father, the Emperor, he sees it differently. He suggests that maybe being a hero isn't about being fearless. Maybe it's about being terrified and making the choice to act anyway. And that leaves us with a really powerful final thought. The story suggests that the biggest, scariest battles we fight aren't always against floating cities or dark magic. Sometimes they're against our own doubts. And maybe true heroism is found in that simple, terrifying act of just pushing forward anyway.